Hello, everybody. It's Mark Benzer with the Buffalo Community Podcast. The introduction we felt this week needed to be a little different than normal. Sadly, as a lot of you know, or all of you know, our friend Joe Motlow passed away after his battle with cancer over the last 5, 6, 7 years. We've been able to and blessed to meet with him 4 times on the podcast, episode 52, 102, 133, and the episode that will be immediately after this. Joe is an amazing individual, a friend to everyone, courageous, inspirational, and the list goes on and on and on. You all already know this, but Joe is going to be deeply missed, and the Buffalo Community Podcast extends prayers to all of you as friends, and especially as family. It's a big loss. It's a big void in the world right now, but hopefully you're able to enjoy, or whatever the right word is, our fourth and final conversation with JoJo Tough.
You're here. We're going to have a little bit different conversation.
Correct.
Than we have the previous 3 times.
That's correct.
You know, it's I think we're sitting there, and probably won't be the first time we got the tissues ready. Is we're probably going to ask you some tough questions, and I'm probably going to throw maybe a trigger warning. It's a sensitive topic.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you're very sensitive to that,
Nope.
Turn away now. But I think if anybody knows yet, you've got a good message out there.
Oh, they definitely do.
So, so anybody that doesn't know Joe, you're a Buffalo native.
Correct.
You're 6-time cancer.
Well,
What? 5-time champ.
We're going on
right now.
battling 6 times.
Yeah. So, and from our last episode, was that July, I think?
No, it was right before Christmas.
Oh, Christmas. Sorry.
Yeah.
You had been lit up like a Christmas tree.
Back in July, I was, yes.
Yep.
And then came back right before Christmas, and I know it had dissipated.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I came back from the Super Bowl, which was super cool, and
Pull your microphone. You can pull it closer.
yeah, which was super cool. But we came back, and there was 5 little spots, like right on around a great track. And then, of course, on May 3rd, we all found out that my cancer came back super, super aggressive, to the point where I have spots in my inner thighs, my liver, my lungs, a little bit my shoulders. Weirdly, in my side spot, we just got done doing my 6th time doing radiation over there in 6 years. Well, battling cancer for the 6th time too, and then we'll get probably another scan in a month, or if I'm still around. But and then also a little bit of particles in my back of my head, and then up and down my spine.
Yeah.
So things right now are on a way different ball field, and pretty much have exhausted all my options.
Yeah. Can you feel those areas?
Oh, yeah. So more about the side effect stuff. So I've been containing a lot of fluids in my legs, so that kind of slows me down. And then there's a disease that your doctors want to have you have when you are a recipient of your donor. It's called graft versus host disease. So my sister 3 years ago, she was my last donor. And so with that being said, as she's trying to fight out cancer, which is she's still 100% in me, which is great, but my body's going, whoa, who are you? And then now she's fighting 2 entities and cause all this drama. So it can cause anything from dry eye, it can cause dry, itchy skin, joint issues, and then also some other pains too as well. And like tight muscles. Yeah, tight muscles right now. So I'm like my inner thighs. So I've been putting on some CBD lotion on my thighs to help that pain kind of ease off a little bit.
Sure.
And then, but other than that, like the other stuff, I can kind of feel here or there once in a while. Like, and so it's kind of like hard to describe. Like, it's kind of like a hit or miss. Also, I'm like, since it's my, and my GI. So like certain foods, definitely kind of just not recognizing it, even though it's so, my body's used to eating certain foods.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's rejecting those foods. And so, which is a shame. But it is what it is. It's part of the game. And, they when you're going through cancer, they do tell you about all these side effects on top of your meds that you've been on throughout the years, or even your pills. They tell you about these side effects, but you're just like, all right, we later down the road. Oh, it's been later and later every time. So last year, I'm so thankful and grateful that this bombshell didn't happen, because I would have not been able to get doing my excursions from showing all the way to Alaska, which is super dope. I recommend everyone going out to Alaska, because I tell you, like, it's a whole new world up there.
Yeah.
And then just all my travels I've been through. So with that all being said, like, it's kind of like Miley says, it's like a wrecking ball.
Oh, you can sing too, man.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, not the best.
But, I don't think anybody's blamed Miley Cyrus of being the best either.
No.
We've given cancer a lot of attention here over the last 4 episodes. Let's talk about living, right? You've done a lot of living in your life, especially in the last
Couple years too. Yep.
5. But so what can you, I guess, take us through? Maybe, I don't even know if we covered this, but some of the adventures, some of the living you've done here in the last
past year or 2 months or 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I've gone on a road trip out from here to Wyoming, out to Yellowstone. That was super cool. Been out to San Diego quite a few times, Seattle quite a few times. That was still pretty cool. I was able to bring my siblings this past summer finally out there and get to hang out with them a little longer out there. And then going up to Alaska and doing a RV trip from Anchorage to, where did we go? Palmer, and then Homer, and then the Seward. And we were basically up in the Gulf of Alaska, which is, I mean, it was just so pretty. Like, man, I swear, like Alaska compared to like Seattle mountains, everything seems like they're on steroids up there.
Sure.
It was just like, wow. Wow. Like, you just couldn't get enough of the wow factor.
Yeah. Now up in Homer, that's where like the
Halibut fishing.
So did you see all those big ships from what shore do they call it? The Alaskan crab fishing?
Not so much, because we were just, I think they have them just on the other side of the town or whatever. I don't know where they come in, but
You went halibut fishing.
I wish. So check this out. So every Wednesdays in the state of Alaska, you cannot fish for halibut. The DNR like give them a day off. It's kind of like walleye season, but yet one day off.
Sure.
From not catching walleye. Like, imagine that. Like, you can't like target. Like, say they do come across your line, but you have to throw them back in the water right away.
Yeah.
You can't bring it on the boat. You can get big trouble.
Right.
And so I still wraps my head around that. Like, why? Like, but they're just trying to watch the numbers and all that and give them a little break. And then, we were gonna, like I said, we were gonna do that, but instead we ended up doing a float plane ride, and that was unbelievable. So, we got on this company over there in Homer, and our pilot, his name was Jeremy. We got an old Cessna, and so we flew 10,000 feet up around a volcano, a snowy volcano. Our second one was an 8-year-old active volcano, which we beached at and got to learn more about our captain. You got to learn more about us and why we came all the way up there. And then our last one, that was really cool. We flew into a crater lake of a volcano, and that was super dope. And then, so kind of a crazy story going into there. So as we're flying around looking for an opening, we found an opening, and then Jeremy, our pilot, was like, get ready for an air bump. where we're like air bumps. I'm like, look at mom and dad, like, huh.
Yeah, nice speed bump.
And
a good one there.
So as we're coming in, we get a decrease, and all of a sudden we basically felt like we're in space for like a good 5 seconds. You basically floated off your seat, even though we were all strapped in and seatbelt in, but we all floated for a quick, like maybe 3 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever. But that was cool. And then as soon as we were coming down, we just nice little soft landing on our butts.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh, that's an air bump. So we hung out in this Crater Lake. It was just gorgeous glacier water. We were the only ones in there. Now as we were leaving, and you guys ever seen the new Top Gun movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Long story short, I know, I can't believe I've seen it 3 times, but
I can leave.
no. There's a scene where they didn't have much of a runway, and there's this like old like brick archway, and they'd make it up and over that.
Mm-hmm.
So in our plane, so we had maybe about 4.5, 5 football fields lengths of a runway. And it takes a lot for a plane to get that much air and motion and whatever power, I guess you can say. So here's the Crater Lake wall, and as we're coming damn near, not say damn near close, but getting there, probably about 50 yards away, Jeremy's like, Joe, I'm gonna need your help pull up on your end. So I grabbed my side, and I'm like, we're both like, and then as we're coming up, like, all of a sudden I look back at mom and dad, they're like, yeah, they're like, what in the world did we just do?
So, like just like the dark comedy part of it, you're like, really thought cancer was going to get me, but nope, we're going to slam into this wall in a plane.
Yeah, right. And he goes, oh, like what? It's like, that's my second time being in there.
He practiced on you.
Oh, we're like, oh dear Lord. And then all of a sudden EDD, hey, look, a whale.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's intense. That's intense.
Oh, it really was. We're like, so this is how the Motlows are gonna go, by hitting the wall and Crater Lake.
Yeah.
In the middle. So we're right by what is that? Kodiak Island.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah. I mean, I think we have maybe a beaker that would give a sign like, hey, where's this Cessna plane? Oh, it's in the Crater Lake.
Right.
Right by Kodiak Island.
We might be able to get there before the bears do.
Yeah, right. Seriously, crazy. But like I said, Alaska was just, and then we ended in Seward, and Seward was just beautiful too. And we got to do a little boat ride in the bay over there and learned a little history about, so the glaciers really are melting, and they're melting fast. And what I mean by that, so they had a diagram in town from like 100 years ago when they were good, from 50 years ago when they were kind of slowly melting, and then like in 2000 they showed it like a good quarter, and then all of a sudden you can see just like almost like nothing. So we took after our boat ride, which we actually got to see a sea otter just enjoying his life, and the water was just glacier water. Like I was going to jump into it, but my dad put a stinker. He's like, "No, you're going to get sick," and blah blah. I'm like, "I'm not sick." Just do it.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, we saw puffins. Now puffins are not toucans. People get them confused. Toucans live down in the tropics, and then puffins, they're little like kind of like 3-4 foot birds, and they have a smaller beak, and they're colorful, but they call them up there flying potatoes because the bodies are like very like doop, doop, doop. So when they fly, their body is downward, so it just looks like a flying potato. I'm like, oh,
I get it.
And then the next day, we did a helicopter ride. So remember that show Magnum PI?
Yeah.
Remember this helicopter, that brown helicopter? Well, we were in one of those. We had to do, it goes by weight. So the first ride was my dad and I and the pilot, and we were basically 500 feet over glaciers and got to see that timeline actually in person. It was like, holy crap, like,
Sure.
you can actually see what's really going on. And then we saw a black bear, we saw some mountain goats, and then we came back and swapped my dad out, get new gas, because in those helicopters, literally we filled up, And in 45 minutes, we were down to like less than a quarter tank. Yeah.
It's not very.
Not very long. No. So,
Those don't get very good gas mileage.
no, sir. We just want to go up to,
It's probably why you don't see people commuting in them.
Right.
yeah. Well,
I would imagine
if
that's the
they,
main reason.
yeah, like I said, if they get to work, like it's like 45 minutes, yeah, they go to the local gas station, get their diesel on that.
Landed at Quick Trip.
Yeah, right. Like, what's this? Oh, it's just an helicopter pad for those guys that, yeah. But
Tenders.
yeah, right. But and then Mom and I went through and we saw some really cool stuff, and we saw basically kind of the same stuff that we saw with my dad. And then we left that Saturday. But like I said, that was really cool. Austin, Texas, I've been down there quite a bit, and I brought my mom down there to meet my friend Jimmy, who passed away 2 years ago from an infection. And so she got to meet Jeremy's mom and wife and kid for the first time and reconnect with an old high school classmate of hers from down from Illinois. So that was just great to see. The Pearl Jam concert, that was awesome as a family. So we haven't done a family trip in a long, like since I was like 16 maybe. And so we went down to Tennessee over there in Nashville for the Pearl Jam concert. And that was just a memory that you'll never forget. And basically got to hang out with Eddie and the crew beforehand, and then listen. It was just me in there, and saw him record before the show. And then eventually my mom, dad, my sister, and brother, and cousin came in too as well. So that was just remarkable. And then, yeah, just every place I've been to so far, I think out of all other states I've covered in the past maybe 2, maybe 3, 4 years, I've covered, I think, like between 27 and 30 states. So, and the reason why I wanted to travel so much, because way before I got sick, everyone else was traveling. Like, oh, that looks like fun. I'll do it next year. I'll do that next year and do it next year. Well, next year keeps coming around and you're going up not doing it. So finally, here's an opportunity. But even though between my sicknesses of having cancer so many times, I still made my dreams come true. And there were people like all of you guys going to my all my benefit parties or boondocks that are not Seago, which is just remarkable and all that. And so, and I very much cherish and thank you guys all from all over the world for coming in and sharing my moment with me and my family and everyone else, or meet new friends. So, but right now, like I said, I'm not saying it's going to be a dark days, but it's going to come. And right now I'm just trying to enjoy that time with y'all. And as y'all coming out to Buffalo, Minnesota to come see me and my family, or make friends too, or reconnect with new friends, or old friends, I should say. And so, which is just so cool to see as well. And so, but right now I'm just day by day and trying to stay vertical. But when that day comes, like everyone, because some people ask, like, do they give you a time frame? I don't know. It's more up to the man upstairs, like, you know, so you never really know. Like the old Walter Payton quote, you're never promised tomorrow.
Yeah. You know, one observation from our few conversations is your recollection of all of your events and your shout outs to people. And I think that's a really special thing to be able to remember all that. And just seeing you just kind of brought us back through your trip. You don't have notes with you. These are huge, impactful moments on your life that I hope people understand how I think that's special. That one, you remember that, and that's just to kind of hear the joy in your voice of something that was really fun and nice.
Yeah,
to go along with you there.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, those moments, like everyone's like, oh, because I started writing a book like maybe 5 years ago, and then I kind of slowed down, and then when about 2 years ago, I wrote about 60 pages. But right now, most of my stuff I put on is either on Facebook or my second JoJo Tough page, or it's on or in my head. So, I mean, I could start right now, but it's so hard. Like right now with the warm weather and try and get out and about. And so, sorry, I'm just putting some eye drops in. The old dry eye, things Benstein.
Clear eyes.
Yeah, seriously, dude, what the heck, Benstein?
We remember it.
Yeah.
Another effort.
So you've done a lot of those fun events, kind of made your dreams come true. Is there one that just and probably you can just take the people out of it because I know they're all special events. Is there one that was just like, I am so glad I did that? And then on the flip side is like, I would never do that again, bungee jumping or skydiving or something like that.
That's a tough question. I mean, skydiving, I wanted to do it the second time. Right as soon as we landed, I'm like, can we go again? I want to go again.
Oh, really?
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. Like, I mean, your adrenaline's just kicking and whatnot. And honestly, but like I said, I've been wanting to do that for even way before I got sick. And so the opportunity didn't happen because of certain things, but more or less, like this time I was like, all right, I'm doing this. Like, you raised money for me to do it. My friend Mike Nolan helped out with that, and I connected with my friend Allie Stone, and we just had that Georgia Tough, like, looks like Joe or Mike Dicka. Dick, so we raised money for that, but that was a heck of a time. Like, I recommend people doing that, like just getting out of your bucket list or just something and saying, hey, I did that. You might be afraid of heights, but you know what? You're all of a sudden you're like, it wasn't so fucking bad. Sorry, but like, nothing bad.
That's all right. Yeah, no, I'm always kind of curious. I mean, again, you're checking these things off and cramming into a couple of years more than most people do in their entire lifetime.
Right.
So,
What would you say was, you go through the first 5-6 years, however long it's been, with I'm gonna live and I'm gonna beat cancer and then that acceptance piece and kind of that mentality is kind of flipped into like, hey, I'm going to maximize my time on earth as far as not just in time, but also in experiences and people. And what was that transition like where you kind of had to
Turn that dial.
flip the switch a little bit in terms of your approach to fighting cancer?
That's a good question, Mark. When I was first diagnosed, 6 years coming up next week on the 15th, I told myself, I'm gonna have fun with this, but just enjoy the ride. And for girls, it's a whole different story because you're losing a lot of identification on everything. But I even told my mom that, like, after we had our little cry out, that we're gonna have fun. And then over the years, as much of a roller coaster it has been, but it's been kind of like a fun roller coaster. And yeah, it is getting old. It's kind of like, have you ever been to Six Flags in Great America? So they have this old ride that's been around for a super long time called some Eagle, but more or less like it's an old school like carton wood like tracks and
Wood roller coaster.
yeah. And so after a while you get kind of like you're going up and down, or up and round, and yet like you're like, hey, this is fun. Oh, this sucks. This is fun. This sucks. But at the same time, it was hard. At the same time, I just kept pulling my pants up and just saying, hey, we're going to keep riding. We're going to keep riding this through and through. And it doesn't matter, what it takes or what we have to do. We're going to power through this. And, between, having my mom and all of you guys, like you guys are on my team, Team Georgia Tough, you guys have my 6. And so you guys have actually helped me get my family and I through all this, which, I'm close to you guys all. So thank you. And thank you guys over here as well. And just, helping us, making sure that we're on the right track mentally and physically, just checking in, not only just me, you guys have been checking in on my family as well, which is great and well appreciated. And so it's just, like I said, this roller coaster is going to come down to the end eventually, and this is the hard part one. So like you said, I mean, over the time of being at mom and dad's house, I've had some crap moments with some friends and family members. And so, but right now I'm just trying to enjoy everything through it. Like right now, Mom and I actually, we were outlaws yesterday. Took my dad to the airport and went for a little adventure. Took the dogs to a dog park, a 25-acre dog park out in Bloomington. And we were a little nervous because we're like, are we over our heads? Because my one English Shepherd, he's pretty good, but we have a dog named Max who likes to run. And so even though it's all fenced in, but we were like 25 acres, do we really want to be chasing Max around? Like, oh. So at first, and it was hot and didn't have much trees around here, but down in the corners, down the deep end, like oh, we should have brought shot collars. And not knowing, so we just kind of found it randomly. We were trying to figure out something to do after I dropped my dad off. So my dad's been working down for the past couple months. He'll be down there for a year in South Carolina, in Greer, South Carolina, which is on the northwest corner. So he's a half hour south of Asheville, North Carolina. And so where the Smokies and the Appalachians meet.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had dropped him off at the airport. And then, so afterwards, we just kind of found a place to go and hang out with the dogs. And then Max, we actually listened pretty well. So we're like, that's a good W right there. Mm-hmm. So that was our little outlaw, getting out of the house kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But, the whole cancer part, you can make it the worst or you can make it the best. And, there's some people, some friends, are making the best of it, which I applaud to them because they see what I'm doing. Like, oh my gosh, Jojo Tough is like so open about his cancer over the years. Like, I want to follow in his tracks, which I, like I said, applaud to all of them and doing the same things, cutting their hairs or some of their own regular, Joy Bess. His wife had cancer, and so she started her own page. It's called The Best Family. And then my friend Ashley M, she had breast cancer, and she and her boyfriend and family and having made fun of she had breast cancer, but now she's clear, and but still having like fun with it and showing what she's going through as well. But then I got some friends a little more quiet about the cancer, which respectful, and so. But at the same time, like I said, you can make it the worst or you can make it the best. If you make it the worst, you're stuck in a rabbit hole. Because then you've pushed everyone away. You're like, I'm fine. Really, you're not. You're kind of sad and depressed and you're pushed everyone away. I said, hey, let me help you out. Let me help you get meals or something. Mm-hmm. And then there's people like me and many others who are like, hey, yeah, I would love for you guys to come and visit. Or you guys want to bring something and have dinner and we can just all visit together as well.
I found that every time I see a new post from Jojo Tough, I mean, one, your hashtag game is like
I know
second to none.
I got slow down there.
So no. Well, I say that to lighten it up a bit, but every time I see it, it's usually because somebody came down to visit you, and you had good time and good conversation, and you're reading through them all. I almost don't want to read any more of them, based on the last time. I just thought, oh, is this it? Is this the post? Is this, so it's always a bit scared, because to read it,
Sometimes, like I said, I just never know.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'm not trying to make everyone sad, but if I didn't, there's days where I've had some really, really rough days between breathing and whatever. And, we had another little incident on last week, Monday morning. And so that was kind of a scary situation, but we figured it all out and we got it all cleared up. Mm-hmm. But more or less, like I said, I just never know. So that's why sometimes my posts are kind of like a 50-50. It's a happy-go-lucky, but then there's days where, like, with all of the stuff that's going on in my body, I'm not sure if I'm going to wake up the next morning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I just want to make sure I get word out.
No, I kind of want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
I mean, I think you only get very limited times of being able to ask somebody so open about their situation. You said, before we started recording, you said you're at peace.
Yep.
You're at peace. And is there something that you can, share that is bringing you that peace? Are you looking forward to the afterlife? Are you scared of it? What are you feeling right now?
Everyone always says, I can't wait to get to heaven, and you know, I have become more religious on things like that, but it's not like you want to get to heaven like right away. You're like, oh, I can't wait,
Right.
you know. And so it's kind of a tricky question, but at the same time, I mean, I would say at peace, like, you know, I'm not scared. Definitely not scared. Like I said, I'm more sad for everyone, including my whole family and all of you guys all over. But am I ready to go to heaven? Yeah, I am. But it's not like, get me up there as fast as you can.
Right.
Wait.
Right.
But at the same time, yeah, I when the date does come, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that you guys are too.
Uh-huh.
I know it's gonna be a hard one, but like I said, we're kind of a day by day, and like I said, that you know, with those sad posts or good posts, you know, I'm just not sure when it's gonna happen.
Right.
No one knows.
Yeah.
Kind of like Walter Payton's quote: "You're never promised tomorrow."
Yeah.
So, like I said, I want to make sure that that word gets out.
Yeah. Yeah. That it's heavy. It's a heavy conversation.
You don't, I mean, you know, there's always, you read the things about people who worked in a nursing home or in a, you know, and these are the top 10 regrets of that people have on their deathbed, right? And a lot of times it's not the things that they did, but maybe the things that they didn't do. I didn't start the business. I didn't spend enough time with my family. I worked. It's not I worked too much, or you know, like, dude. I guess being that we have an opportunity to talk to you in that situation.
Those are fake tears, Joe.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
They really are.
Sorry, just to lighten it.
They are tears.
Yeah.
I guess who better to talk to than somebody who's in that situation of, you know what, like, I don't know if it's advice or anything that you would add to a list like that of living life, taking chances, and whatnot.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, you could make the best of it or you can make the worst of it. But right now, you don't have time to make the worst of it. You gotta make the best of it, day by day. Really, tell you the truth, it doesn't really matter what you're going through in life, as long as you don't push those people away. Because they want to help you. They want to get you to cross that finish line or, you know, restart your life and stop being an outlaw and becoming an in-law. Or not, like, you know what I mean? Like, like a good cowboy.
Yeah.
But like I said, just, you know, having, and I wasn't trying to be this inspirational person when I first got sick. You know, I didn't realize I was opening a can of worms, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, who's this guy? Like, he's so inspirational. Like, why? How's he going through all this and not like crying about anything about this? And you know, when I was way before I got sick, I was focusing on my cousin Chelsea who passed away, and so I knew a lot about the cancer world, and so I started, focusing on her as well. So she's been was my inspiration. So it was like, before her passing, like, this is how I want my life to be. And so just enjoying life, meeting cool people, seeing cool things, getting out and about and doing whatever. And, they have these like fundraisers for kids and all that, where they're going through cancer and all that. But as an adult, they really don't. You have to make up your own. And which is kind of sad, they don't have like an adult thing.
Sure.
But at the same time,
Like Make-A-Wish things? Or...
yeah, make a wish for adults.
Yeah.
I mean, because like right now they're already paying and otherwise due for their treatments or hospitals or whatever, their medical stuff. And so like having someone out there that could provide that service and help them raise money or whatnot. And so the actually last year, January, that was my kind of my goal, was 'cause I hit 40. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to start my own JoJo Tough Foundation. And it didn't matter what kind of cancer you had, just kind of helping point directions of like how to raise money so you can get yourself on your bucket list of going to maybe Alaska or getting yourself to Hawaii or whatever, going on a cruise, or helping kind of guide you through different directions of how, mentally how to help you out. But this time, like I said, with the money aspect, like how to raise the money, like get bracelets, T-shirts, hats. I mean, I have my own, basically my own clothing line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, to my hats and all my shirts and hoodies, fishing rods, truck stickers or car stickers. I mean, I'm on everything. Like, and I just recently, from my friends Gary and Serena Yule, apparently you can go with starregistry.com and you can register in honor of someone, a star. So I have my own star up there in the galaxy.
I saw that.
Yeah, I was like, holy cow. So I thank them as well. But like I said, it was just a cool surprise. Like I have my own star named after me.
Mm-hmm.
And so just kind of honoring those and trying to help them out. Or just knowing, like, so I have a lot of friends who are in different, like, they have horses or they have motorcycles or cool cars or whatever they need. I can provide them with that, pointing them towards that direction. Like, oh, you've never gone on a horse before? You've never gone on this cool car or motorcycle?
Yeah.
So I can provide them with that kind of service if they don't have that connection. But like I said, kind of, as an adult, it's so sad. Like you have to make up your own wish.
Sure.
And so, but same time, like, try to help them see if they can get their own money. But like I said, I wish there was a company, speaking of Wish Foundation, I wish there was a company that had make a Wish Foundation for adults.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I mean, people definitely would appreciate having something like that because they basically either have to raise money, which is great, but if they don't make what they need to get to, but having that Wish Foundation would be great for adults.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like I said, I learned a lot, seen a lot, heard a lot, and that's one thing that, in the past 6 years of maturing and learning about those soul cancer, really learning about my family, learning about all you guys from all over, and meeting people randomly that have been following my story or stories for the past 6 years, and finally, like, they find me in Target, like, hey, are you JoJo? Like, yeah. Like, oh, you're friends with my friend Sabrina, or you're friends with Mark and Tyler. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or seeing it in a podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, right on. And so, just pointing out, helping people get that smile back on.
Yeah.
It's tough. It really is. Because there's going to be days where you can feel sad for yourself and sick. But as long as you get out of that little rabbit hole and start getting out and just enjoying life,
Mm-hmm.
the sun's out, guns out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now your mom dropped you off today.
Yep.
And she's like, we invited her in. She's like, I got to go to Walmart.
Yeah.
And your dad, you dropped him off at the airport for working.
Mm-hmm.
And now as they've been with you, I mean, I think you said your mom was like your
Number one.
rock, your number one. Is what I'm just trying to think of, just like you said, you had that initial cry. I mean, but it seems like she's been able to function of just like normal life things too, because life goes on around you,
And
not just you.
right.
I
And
consider it
she-
complimentary.
Yeah. And like now, like me living there, because, which is a good thing because, I was living in a single apartment or condo by myself out in New Hope. And if something did happen, no one would know.
Yeah.
And then, like, say they check on me like 2 days later, my condo smells like dead body or whatever, so being where I'm at here in Buffalo, which is great. Yeah, she's right. Like afterwards, after we got, she picks me up, she's got to work on the garden and the yard. But same time, yeah, there's life. And Sam's been coming around helping her out too, or my nephews too as well, or my friend Matt Chopek coming out and helping her out as well. But yeah, like I said, life does go not just necessarily revolve me, but she's got to do her duties, her life stuff and whatnot, which she's been great at doing. So like I said, a lot of friends of mine have already met my mom. Some friends actually got to meet my dad too while he was here, because he was in town for a little longer for the past week, so he got to meet them, which I'm proud of him, because how many people were coming and going. And so I'm proud of him of watching all that, because over the years of being in and out of hospitals, more in the hospitals, those doors were always revolving. And so he didn't really get to witness all that and meet all these people. Where mom has met all these people and actually have their numbers or whatnot, already got to know them. Where my dad hasn't really got to meet them, so he finally got to meet them. And so, but like I said, because he was last year, he was up in Duluth working on the 35, and that got all done. So he decided to work one more year before his retirement. And so, but so I'm proud of both my parents, and then to my siblings. It's with all their life stuff going on right now, and then mixing me in there, it's kind of a rough one right now with everything. It's kind of like a 50-50 for them.
Sure.
Because they're trying to handle their own lives with their families, and then all of a sudden, like, here I come, so they're trying to get around and see me too. At the same time, they got their own stuff to do.
Yeah.
And bring their kids to wherever they need to get to.
Baseball or whatever.
Or soccer tournaments or whatever.
Well, yeah. And there's no manual on how to do it, right? There's no manual for Sam and Melissa to say, okay, here's the book to, if your brother's dying of cancer, here's how you parent and go to work and be with your brother.
Correct.
Take care of your parents who are going through a hard time. And, so everybody's just kind of doing the best they can here.
True story.
Right? And yourself included, and just you've put so much of your life. Sorry.
Yeah.
On social media, right? Like, we got that story of yours, and it's
it's a tough one. It really is. Yeah. And I feel on that. I'm sorry. And
it's like a guide. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's a little bit of a guide of
how
to live and keep living, right?
Right. And that's always been the hard thing too, because over the years, from here to Seattle, I was told that either in a few months or a year or 3 to 6 months, or maybe a month when I was out in Seattle doing my first CAR T and finding out people had passed away on the CAR T. But I think they were a little older. So, but more or less, it has been hard. And I don't mind retelling my story over and over. I really don't, as people are coming and going. But what you said, it's a guide. And I've noticed that too, so that's kind of ironic that you brought that up, because I was thinking about that yesterday and how I've guided so many people / inspired, but more guided people through certain things and helped them out with their cancer stuff. And promoting, and I've gotten Jason Sensland. I had Jason Sensland over there at A Plus Performance make them hoodies with their cancer colors. And so as a family that's going through cancer, one person that's going through it, it's tough too, because either A, you're the main focus, and your siblings kind of hey, what about me? I got issues going on,
Right.
But at the same time, they're trying their best on that and try to help them out with their issues. But when there's someone that, like myself, going through kind of a harder life, but like I said, it kind of doesn't say they all match up together, but they don't. And I said, being that guide, you know, it's a tough one. It really is. And I said, because, you know, you don't want to be that golden child, but same time, and kind of have been. So there's a little bit of jealousy,
Sure.
but at the same time, like they're trying, you know, their best not to overwhelm my folks and all that.
Yeah.
So, which is good. I mean, I'm proud of my sister Melissa and Sam, and you know, going to their emotion of whatever, and but yet still coming and visiting, saying hi and whatever. And so, but like I said, it's ironic that you brought that up, Mark, and big hugs, but it's gonna be all right. And you know, just gotta keep going through that motion and keep moving forward day by day. Some days, and really basically falling apart, and either having some sort of muscle issue or your legs aren't fully like working. But every time I complain about those, sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, talk about how I'm still standing walking around, but I have all this like soreness going on. And then I go to clinic or I go wherever, there's someone that doesn't have any legs or is in a wheelchair for their life. Or I go to the eye clinic.
My neck is really sore right now.
Oh, I bet.
I've slept.
Oh, I bet.
Guys.
Yeah. It's a good. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, somebody that going through what you've gone through is just still such an inspirational foresight. Hey, I can still walk.
These are real fears.
Yeah. I mean, to kind of put that into your own perspective, I mean, everybody has their own battles, but almost guaranteed somebody else has it worse, you know, and then what can you do to make it better?
You know, I always feel bad about it. Like, and so here's kind of a prime, kind of a funny example. And I was talking to my cousin Jason about this. So my cousin Jason was in the military. He was in Iraq, and we did a Tough Mudder. I think it was my second or third my third Tough Mudder, and we did it in honor of Chelsea. And so did with my buddy Derek and my cousin Jason. And Derek was like in shape, was already ready for it, and he did it in like 2 hours. Or my cousin and I, it took us like 5.5 hours.
Yeah,
So yeah.
sorry.
And so my cousin lost all his weight, and he's a big guy. And he's, I'm 41, he's 44, 43, somewhere around there. And so he was telling me how he lost all his weight, has been doing a bunch of boxing and all that, but never told me that he did some cardio, but didn't tell me he did running cardio. And so as we're going through this whole obstacle course, which is like, 5 miles, and he was getting like shin splints or he was just getting cramps. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to take forever. So we're going down to for the last one. And there's a vertical ramp. And as I was going up, Jason couldn't make it up, but there was a amputee. He had no legs, but he got help from people, get him up to the top.
Yeah.
And then we get down, and I met up with my cousin, and he's complaining about his legs, just cramp. And he's on the
I'd see where this is going.
Yeah, and this amputee just happens to literally scoop by, and I'm like, Jason, you're butt up. Like, an amputee can doesn't have legs, and you're complaining about your legs. Yeah, he's like, if I get up fast enough, I kick your butt. I'm like, well, keep moving.
I don't even have legs for him to hurt.
Yeah. But so I think about that occasion, that as much as I complain about my legs now, I'm like, I remember just telling my cousin about that. I'm like, darn it, I should not complain about my legs.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, I can't, like, if I sit too long, that hurts. But if I stand too long, they hurt. They get like tight, and it feels like it's got done doing leg workout, and just the muscle aches on that.
Sure.
And so, but they said, if you're legal, you well deserve to complain. You've been battling this for 6 years. I go, I know, but every time I complain, I go somewhere like clinic or wherever, and I see someone in a wheelchair for life, or I see someone literally miss an eyeball, or have a glass eye.
Yeah.
So just like,
Do you ever razz the other people like, oh man, I was late or it's too hot out, and then you're like, well, I have cancer. I mean, just kind of like that. I mean, on the other side,
So-
just to kind of bring them down with like, hey, there's much worse things than stubbing your toe.
no, more of a different direction. So over the years, I would see people like, oh, I've got a cold or flu or whatnot. I'm like, all right, I'll feel better, prayers to you, blah, blah. And they kept that continue on. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? You're a freaking adult. Just because your kids got sick, like, go see a doctor. So then I would separate message them going, hey, Tyler, hey, you're 35 years old, 36 years old. Like, if you don't want to go see a doctor, here's some advice. Make yourself a hot toddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's some hot toddy, and then call me in the morning. Or drink some Gatorade.
Yeah.
Call me in the morning.
Yeah.
If you do go see a doctor, get in there. Like, quick complain. Like, I have cancer. Like, oh my gosh, Joe, I'm so sorry. I didn't think about you, or I forgot about
Yeah.
you.
See, true story. See, he did message.
Yeah.
No.
I got a butter.
And then
Spelled buttercup wrong.
yeah, buttercup. But and then it got like over the past couple of years now, it's kind of like worse. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call you out on your Facebook page. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I went to cancer like 5 times or 6 times. I'm like, hey, I hope you feel better, prayers to you, but at least you're not battling cancer for the 5th time or the 6th time. Oh my gosh, Joe, I'm so sorry. And then make sure a lot of drink some Gatorade and call me in the morning.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all of their friends are like, whoa, who's this guy? Why? How is he making fun? And then, just kind of call them out that way. And like, not trying to be mean, but it's like, you have a cold or you have a flu, you can get better. My options don't get better.
Yeah.
Apparently,
This episode is sponsored by the Hot Toddy Makers and Gatorade.
Gatorade. Yeah.
No.
Should reach out.
Yeah.
And sponsored by JoJo Tough Yeti Cup.
Yeah. Now that,
Thank you, Ryan Wilkerson.
yeah, I kind of ask that just because, I mean, you kind of do just have to put it in perspective of social media is such a place where people can go to complain about the stupidest stuff ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, there was 8 people in line at Chick-fil-A and it took me
Oh my
2 extra
gosh.
minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you should have gone that.
Was it delicious still?
Yeah. It's so good. What? It was 2 minutes. Why don't you just go inside?
And yeah, but I mean, it's someone that obviously is on the other side of the perspective of just go for it.
Yeah.
So, no, I thank you for sharing that. And I mean, it's very unique to be able to sit here and have a conversation like that and just kind of ask those tougher questions. I don't know if people have asked you that stuff before.
The past month, yes.
Yes, I appreciate you being able to share and then share for the people that maybe can't get to you or ask those, and just it's a pleasure sitting down and listening to your stories, and you have it with
Stories, right? Oh my God.
every time we sit down, it's like, oh, what are we going to talk about? Joe's going to come up with something.
Yeah.
I said we're not going to have any.
Yeah, and he got the notepad.
Yeah.
The old.
Yeah, there's definitely some interviews that we have to carry a little more.
Yeah.
And some interviews where we introduce the show and
Here's Joe.
here's Joe. So
Yeah.
if you need a water,
No, I got one.
yeah.
But like I said, I've always had a great time coming across to you guys, and not stalking, but I am.
Hey, nobody this is recorded in all 4 studios.
Nope, not at all. So
Yeah, like I said, I'm proud of you guys and getting this side of the building now.
yeah,
And so really
and a window.
in a window. Get up to the window to the wild.
Let's not share. Let's not finish that.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
But no, we really appreciate it, Joe. It's always been fun to talk
Wow.
to you, and just
Thank you.
inspirational story. So hopefully your legacy lives on when you're gone.
Yep. And so right now, what and when kids say, they're like, "What do you want?" I'm good. What I want people to do after I pass out during this time right now, is not only check on me, but check on my mom, dad, my brother, and my sister. And then also, I know we had was about our having purple lights on their doors or on their houses and all that, but maybe put a purple in an orange or make it all orange. So my mom had bought orange lights for the outside, and orange represents leukemia. And knowing that, and then all the friends have been doing the same thing right now and putting orange lights on around their house, and just knowing that a legacy has left us, but knowing that that orange light will keep going and shining bright.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one thing I ask everyone out there is, look on Amazon or Menards or whatever, look for some orange light, house lights, and put them up around your garage or your front doorstep, and just keep that orange light going.
Yeah.
Keep that brightness going during the night.
Love you, man.
Love you guys, and thank you for letting me come on again. And I've always had my fun times with you guys, and endure what you guys have to offer around here as well. Thank you, and God bless you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe give one last message to everybody.
Just keep moving forward. Stay positive. I know it's gonna be tough when you hear about you having cancer, but don't get yourself stuck in that rabbit hole. Don't push people away. Just keep moving forward. Accept the help. Truly accept the help. That's another thing. And let others, you may not even know them, and they finally want to meet you, and they come to your house for the first time, or you go out to dinner or lunch or whatever with them, and let them help you out. And as much as you don't like getting helped, but take on that, let them take that role on, because they're there. That's why you got these quote friends or acquaintances or new friends or friends you've never met before, and they're finally meeting you in face to face. And so allow that to happen, and just enjoy life. That's important part. It doesn't matter if you're alone or with whoever you're with. It doesn't matter how many people you're with. It can be the three of us, or it can be a squad of 10 or whatever. Just keep enjoying that life and make your own adventure with them, or maybe you're without them. But like I said, keep that adventure going, and just keep rolling the dice of fun.